is this?
Opportunity.
Opportunity. How many people have been practicing opportunity? How many? Raise your hands. Nice show of hands. Good. Very good. Very good. Please continue doing it. It does work. It works well. I want to give you a story right now that will lead us into what we're going to be doing tonight. Let me start with this story. I think you'll find this interesting. About a week ago, I'm finishing the paperwork for a patient, filling out the supplements that he needs, and there's one more that I know he needs, but I'm hesitant to give it to him because I'm concerned that if I do, it may be the tipping point and maybe he'll resist the therapies rather than actually do it. So I don't do it, even though through my entire body system, I know that that one supplement is very important. I didn't say a word to that person. I didn't say a word to Mary. I didn't write anything down, but I could feel it through my body that that was very important. So we exchanged pleasantries. He leaves. 2 days later, he calls me. 2 days later, he calls me and he says, Dr. Berman, I'm following your protocol. But he goes, there's an extra box in my bag. It wasn't on the sheet, and I don't know what this is for. What do I do with it? I said, what's the name of it? What do you think it was? It was the one that I said he would need, but I was hesitant to give him. Now, I checked the forms. Mary did give it to him, but she could not possibly have known to select that one product, not from all the supplements I have in that bag. So what happened? What happened? How could that have happened? What occurred? What's this? Antenna. My antenna was super strong. I sent out the signal through all parts of my body, brain, heart, and spirit. I was aligned. I knew he needed it. I sent it out. I didn't know where it was going to go. I had no idea where it was going to go. But Mary somehow picked it up. Because we've been working together enough, and she's in complete agreement with the things that we're doing, so she somehow picked it up. Okay. What's the moral of the story?
Follow your guidance.
Follow your guidance, right? And since you said that, James, thank you for saying that. When I explained to him what happened, because I was shocked, I explained to the patient what happened, this entire story, and he goes, if God wants me to have that product, I would have taken that product. Okay? So you're right, follow the gut. Okay? And that's good. Anything else about this? Why doesn't that happen all the time? We're not in alignment. Right, we're not in alignment. There's something wrong at brain, heart, or spirit. There's something wrong that's not in alignment, and that stops things from happening. Right? Okay. So we're talking about an energy that flows through the body that helps make sure that there's some alignment between brain, heart, and spirit. And we saw last week, so this will take us nicely into what we're going to be doing this week. Okay. We saw last week that there are certain mechanisms that we can use that will help encourage the flow of that energy through our body. Okay. Now, on a daily basis, it's diet, water, exercise, and sleep. It's meditation. It's working with your opportunities through the body system. It's doing a number of different things, but suppose you've had a bad week. Suppose you're tired. Now you haven't been exercising, it's been a strong week, very difficult one. What about the energy? Is it probably flowing or has it stopped? Most likely stopped. Well, people ask me all the time, how do I take care of myself? And one of the things that I do is I use mechanical devices to get the energy flowing through my body. And those are some of the ways that I do it. Okay? And what I like about these ways is because it's very healthy. Whether you use the MetaRub or use something like this, it's extremely healthy, and you can use it over different parts of the body. It keeps the energy flowing, as you saw last week. I wasn't thinking about this when I started the intermediate class, but since you're beginning to see the benefits of this, let me just say this to you. Mary, and we should thank her for this, she was able to negotiate an incredible price. These are $400 on the internet. We can sell them to you $275 if you want them. The MetaRubs down there, we can sell those for about $165. And I would encourage you to get something, simply because you need to keep that energy flowing when you can't do it yourself. Using them along your back, on your feet, in the abdominal area will keep things moving, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I used mine just about an hour ago. It helps. So I would encourage you to keep thinking this way about this. Now, let's go to what we're going to do tonight, because tonight we're going to play a little bit. We're going to take advantage of what we've started last week. And so let's go back to what we did last week. Now tonight what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure that you clear your space. That whatever is around you, whatever we brought in, whatever you brought in, we're going to clear it. Now why do you think I'm asking you to do this? Why? She can flow through, and you get the right answers, correct answers. Now personally speaking, I'm on a quest. Okay? I have a mission for what I want to do with my life, and I'm fulfilling it, and I'm getting close. So in the process of getting close, I'm being interfered with. I can't even begin to tell you the type of resistances I've experienced over the last week and a half. Now I know they're not coming from us, they're coming from spiritual issues, spiritual areas.
What type of resistance?
These are, let's say, call it dark forces, where now if I select answers, they'll be wrong. My yeses are no's, my no's are yeses. Okay? And there are other things that are going on that are not normal. And I know that I'm getting close to getting my answers because this is probably the last part of resistance that they're trying to give me to test me. So I have to clear everything I'm doing, no matter what it is, before I give people an answer. I never have to do this in most cases, but now I have to. So if I have to, guess what? We're all sharing this. And you're a lot closer towards your goals now than you were a year ago or 2 years ago. And as you get closer, you'll be able to see more interference, more difficulty. It's part of the process. Why? I think there's a spiritual battle that's going on, but let's not go into that for the moment. Let's just say it's there. So we're going to make sure that you're clear, and this is going to help you and your family too, far beyond this. Because tonight we're going to do some psychic work, and you can't do psychic work if you're interfered with. So the first thing is you clear. Now, do you know what I mean by clearing your space? We've talked about this. For some of you, you know this, but for others, maybe you don't. When I talk about clearing your space, what I mean is this. I imagine that all the energy of the universe is going straight through me, and also through your partners, whoever they'll be tonight, and that energy is just going out away from me, away from them, and whatever is in this room. Because there's a lot of darkness back here, over here. This darkness, it's gone. And you can send it to the moon. I don't care where you send it. You send it someplace, but get it out of here and away from you. So you do that before you decide or make any choices. Now, I would do it 3 times. I would do it once, and I would just see everything being cleared away. I would do it a second time, same way, and I would do it a third time, but in the third time, I would demand that if there's anything left in this room, around you or around anyone else, that expose itself, and you get rid of it. Because these entities are lesser than you. What Hollywood has said about demons, devils, this type of thing, it's ridiculous. We are far above them. They should answer to us, not the other way around. We're in charge of this, so we should be able to tell them to expose themselves and get them out of here. Okay? So on the third go around, tell them to leave and make sure. We'll do it 3 times. It's a good safety factor. Now you're free to do the rest of the experiment. Here's the rest of the experiment. Your partner will have 2 cards. On one of the cards, they'll put a number. They'll tell you what the number is on one of the cards. They'll shuffle them. They'll put them down. Okay, now, before you do anything, after you've cleared, you're going to use the antenna concept. We're going to use your entire sensitivity through your own body. Your entire body is an antenna to find the answer. They told you the number. You're going to allow your body to decide which of the 2 cards has the number. I will do it 2 or 3 times just to get you acclimated to this. All right? And whether you get it or not, I don't care. I don't care. This is just a starting point. Okay? It's just a beginning point. So take the pressure off yourself. Then, after you've done it 2 or 3 times, remember what we did last week. Went to the vibrator. Okay? So, go to the vibrator, and Well, muscle test. Remember, we just took a closed fist. We went to the base of the ribs. We're thinking of our full name, like I am. Go through your full name. Imagine it's going through your body. Then they'll test you before they turn anything on. At that point, you should be weak or strong. What? With the vibrator off, going with your name, you should be what? Strong. You should be strong. Okay? But then we'll do exactly what we did last week. We'll adjust the vibrator, and we'll muscle test them as we're adjusting the vibrator, and we'll find a point at the vibration, according to this vibrator, or the meta rubs, where they're still weak, and then we'll find a place where they're now strong when we muscle test. Now, at the point where they're strong, we're going to reshuffle the cards, and you're going to test yourself again, make sure your environment is clear. It still may be clear, you may not have to do this again, but again, there are a number of us here, so these things can come back like this. Okay? And they can come back very fast. We can all bring them back at different times. So test again. If you sense anything at all that's not right in this environment, clear again. And clear again while you're vibrating, and you're strong while you're vibrating, and now sense and test if now this helps you decide which of the two cards has the number. In theory, what do you think should happen with the vibrator?
Should get the right number.
Should be a lot easier.
When you're strong, you should be able to, your antenna should detect.
That's right.
So how do you muscle test if you're by yourself?
Okay. Well, you can maybe do this, or you can lean forwards or backwards, or call your friend on the phone and have them test. There are any number of ways of doing this. In fact, I want us to get to the point where someone's vibrating here, and you're outside, maybe in the parking lot, and you can tell them when they've turned it to a strong point or a weak point. We're going to get there. I was thinking the best way for us to utilize our 4 weeks is to work with these and save going up into space and talking to God for the advanced class. Bless you. And I would encourage you to think this way, that we're surrounded by opportunity. That we can use different mechanisms, diet, water, exercise, sleep, other people, mechanisms like this, to optimize that energy so we can get what we want a whole lot faster. Why can't we think about what we want, be in congruence with this, and let it happen just like that box of supplements appeared in his bag? And I got to tell you, since I've been working with these classes, these events are happening much faster to me now. So by helping you, I'm helping me. So thank you for the opportunity. Now, any questions about what we're going to do? Pretty simple? Good. I think it will be once we get started. Any questions over on this side?
Clearing part.
Okay. When I talk about clearing, what do you think I mean by clearing? How would you do it for yourself to clear your environment?
Clear negativity down.
Okay. Since you asked a good question, let me see if I can answer that. As we're clearing it, just imagine that it doesn't matter where, brain or heart, somehow, maybe both, are helping to attract these entities into our life. Maybe the people around you are doing it. Doesn't matter, but they're there. And they really are there. And their goal is to try to create problems. So our job is to allow God and angels, whatever you want to call this energy, allow it to come through ourselves. We're going to let it come through. And we'll let it come through as though it's going through the brain and the heart and the spirit, and now it's going out in all dimensions and in all areas out of you. Washing these areas, and just like a vacuum, sucking up whatever's around you that's going to create problems and move them away. All we have to do is see that in our minds as we're doing this. We have to give it a chance. But it's astounding when you do this and you get a completely different answer than just seconds before when you didn't. And nothing else changed. Not within seconds. Okay. Did I answer your question? I would do that 3 times. and see it completed each of 3 times. On the 3rd attempt, I would tell these entities around you if there's anything left, expose themselves, command them to do it, and take charge. Command them to do it, because they will. And if you detect anything, even if it's in another group somewhere, clear again. Clear again. It should be very clean. And if you have to go a 4th or 5th time, I would do a 4th or 5th time. Because we're starting this, we're learning it, and you must take charge of this. And you're good at it, you'll do it once and you'll learn. But every so often they try to sneak back with me too. Every so often. And I'm going to tell you, the closer you are towards getting whatever it is that you want, the more you'll liable to be interfered with. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't have partners, let me know, and we'll get you working with a group. Right? Be sure there are no other questions. Danny, are there any questions? Any questions? Everything okay? Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. You're already connected up there, so that's good. It's like, how can we get there faster, more sure? Start with this, and just keep building on this, okay? Okay. Very good. I think we're ready. Shall we?
Yeah.
If you have questions, ask. Okay, as we're doing this, and I'll do my best to answer them. So will Susan. Okay? Ready? Please. Please. And then if there's no one, if there's some people here who don't have partners, then we'll get you going with some of the other groups, at least for right now, okay? Remember I said, if you're hungry, eat something. If you're thirsty, drink something before you do the muscle test. Okay, please.
Very good.
Very good. Now, let me make sure of this. When you were on the machine, and the machine was vibrating, and they muscle tested you, you were strong, did you also do a test that way while you're still vibrating? And how did that turn out?
Great.
Good, excellent, thank you. So was it easier, harder, the same by being on the machine?
The same.
It was the same, okay.
For me, it was the same.
Okay, that's okay, that's all right, I'm just curious myself right now. Okay, any other opportunities here for observation, Larry?
One of the things that we found is that clearing was critical for us.
When you say critical,
If we didn't clear, the person didn't get the numbers right.
okay, so you saw the same thing that I've been saying.
Yes.
And that's clear, good, excellent. And that was for the entire group?
For the entire group.
Entire group.
Yes.
And we're getting clarification on that. Now, for those of you who are seeing this, I think what we're saying is, it's definitely true that you're being attacked. And I would say that if you're being attacked, and I'm being attacked, then all of us in this room are being attacked, in one form or another, otherwise we all wouldn't be here together.
We're just being strengthened.
Yes. And that's the way I want to phrase it.
Being what?
Strengthened.
Strength.
It's an opportunity. Opportunity, right? Now you realize you can clear, and if you're at work, 5 minutes later or seconds later, they can come back.
And that's when we start to feel a little heavy, kind of a heavy feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? Whatever you're trying to work on seems like it's very difficult. I'm not getting the correct answers. Nothing is changing.
Okay.
You add to the story.
Okay.
Okay? So you understand now why part of this was so important about clearing? Okay. And if you have something you want to buy or something you want to sell, or you have some business decision you need to make, I would certainly make sure that you clear yourself and anyone else involved before you enter into any type of negotiations, especially over the next week.
You're saying we clear the other people too?
Well, we
No,
can't
we
force
clear
them,
the,
but we're going to
we
clear our
clear the
space.
space.
We're going to clear the space around them. Okay? And
So clear the energy of our home or the
Oh,
area
yeah.
we're in as well.
for example, since you brought that up, Danny, for clearing the home, how would you know if your home had a problem? How would you know?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I feel it.
Okay, so you would sense, and you would sense what?
I sense the presence.
Okay.
Heaviness.
A heaviness, thank you. And what I'm hoping is that on your way homes tonight, or during the next week, as you're going home, you're sensing the environment around your home, outside, inside, people there, and if there's any darkness anywhere, around your house, I don't care how it looks, but if you get a sense of darkness or something uneasy, demand that everything leave until that is gone. It's that important. If you're going to meditate for yourself, please clear yourself, otherwise you can have your meditation worthless. Okay.
If you don't sense anything, just clear it anyway.
I would just clear it.
Yeah, that's okay. I can't tell anything one way or another.
Well, we're going to keep practicing. We're going to keep looking. And you may sense a darkness, you may just have an unresolved presence. Maybe the hairs can stand up on your body. It could be any number of things. But if you sense any of that, you know they're there. Okay. And if you're just unclear about it, as you said, just clear it. You have nothing to lose. Okay, so good, excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, now for the vibration. Then Pat, when you were on the vibrator, did it help to be on the vibrator at all versus without the vibrator? Did you see any improvement? When you were strong on the vibrator and then sensing from the vibrator while it was still on, did you see any improvement?
I did. I could see, I said it showed me the card that has the number on it after the vibrator. And I got the light, aura type.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, the person made a comment that after the vibration, they seemed to get, they weren't as accurate as before. Why?
Wrong frequency.
Possibly.
They were clear.
Not clearing.
Possibly.
Not give themselves permission.
And all these things are true, but there's also something else that could equally likely happen. They stirred things up.
Yeah.
And they weren't vibrating long enough to resolve whatever they stirred up. Because it takes, when I'm doing the vibration, I'm on that for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Now, if I just turn it on and turn it off, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, you just don't know. That's why I was asking you to do the test, because we'll do this again next week in another version of this, but we'll be at this next week, similar. So while you're on that and you're vibrating, give yourself a chance to relax, and then make sure you're strong, then do your test while you're still vibrating for next week. But evidently you stirred some things up that need to be resolved. Okay. So thank you. See you all. See what you might.
Okay.
Is there anyone who needs a prayer here, or anything that we need to pray for tonight, or next week?
There's a young man named Austin, he's 11.
Okay.
He had brain cancer at age 3, got through the treatment, everything was wonderful. At age 11, 8 years later, he's having, it's an atrophy from the radiation. His name is Austin.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, my partner's mother-in-law finally made her transition for today.
Let's just let them